Shalom, Mashpaka. It's good to be here today. Y'all see the title? All right. I'm going to start out. Right now, I'm not finna wait. And fam, whoever come in, then we'll start having our combo. All right, I'm sorry it took a while for me to come in here. But I had to make sure that the thing was set correct before I come on. I apologize for that, fam. So I'm gonna share this stuff with y'all. Alright. So what I'm gonna talk about today is y'all see the title. I'm just making sure because I had to reset my frame rate and everything before I came on. So I'm making sure everything is up and proper for y'all. Alright. Somebody may say, should have did that before you came on here, Yaquaba. But I didn't want y'all to keep on waiting, so I had to go ahead and start. Alright. So I'm going to share again and tell the people I'm live now. We're just having problems. And whoever want to come over, they can. All right. So after I do this, then I'm finna go ahead and just start. All right. All right, fam. So let me go ahead and start out. First thing I want to share with y'all is one of my main focal topics that I want to talk about today. So let's go here. So you see that say Negro, and we're going to talk about race today. All right? Because it's a lot of us, it's some people that ask me about race, and they wanted to know the difference between race. And, anytime you ask one of our people, who are we according to the flesh, they go back to saying we Negroes, we African Americans. All right, so I want to read this to you, and we're going to see why a lot of our people see it as an offense for you to call them a Negro. And some of our people get angry when you don't call them a Negro because they feel like you trying to sow seed of discord and cause division. But let us see. Negro is a noun, Negro, plural, Negroes, dated often offensive. A person of black African ancestry. Dated often offensive. A member of a group of people formerly considered to constitute a race. See race. And they give us that for us to see. Shalom, Ak Jason. Thank you for coming, Ak. Make sure you share, Ak, so that more people can see. Thank you for coming, though, bro. Let me add you as a moderator. I thought I did. I'll be in there to add you in a few minutes, Ak. But right here, it says a member of a group of people formerly considered to constitute a race. Then they say they'll see race entry one, and then I click in there for y'all willing. Of humans having African ancestry and are classified according to physical traits such as dark skin, pigmentation. Now the slave masters is the one that named us Negroes. They named us that. Y'all see that? So since the slave masters is the one that named us Negroes, a lot of us take on that, and you see that it connects only to physical traits. You see what they did to erase who you was as a person? Negro, dated, often offensive. It should, once you understand this right here, it's gonna always be offensive to you when somebody call you Negro. When you talking about your bloodline, it's gonna always offend you. Some of y'all might not ever want to be called a Negro again, but you gonna have to be called a Negro in order for you to speak to your people who have been given this doctrine of erasure. Our people went through a lot during slavery. It wasn't easy. And, you know, some people look at our situation and they say that, you know, we just complaining and there's nothing to it, what we went through with. But we as a people, we know better than that. And let's look here and say Negroid. Negroid, objective or noun. See, when they say objective or noun. But can a color be a proper noun? We're going to look this up, family, because they labeled you as a thing. All right. I did this lesson years ago, but I think that I need to go over this lesson again. Dated, often offensive, and I'm probably going to do a whole lot better because of a lot of the studies that I did with the family and that I did in my private time and in prayer with YAHUZA. So I'm probably going to do a lot better, which means come out with a lot more information. So let's go down here. So the slave master, look at this. The term Negro, and to a lesser extent Negress, were formerly in common use. So they called our sisters a Negress, and they called the brothers Negroes, right? And sometimes they call our sisters Negroes too. And sometimes they call the brothers Negresses if they're trying to be slick with you. Common use, but began to fall out of favor in the 1960s. So was there a lot of people waking up to their identity around that time, family? Let us go on to read. And by the 1980s, had largely been replaced in non-historical contexts by Black and African American. So look at this right here. And by the 1980s, had largely been replaced in non-historical contexts by Black and African American. A few organizations continue to use Negro in their names, reflecting the historical preference for the term. The full name of the UNCF, a philanthropic education organization founded in the mid-20th century, and the United Negro College Fund, also called the United Fund, and the Negro League Baseball Museum, which documents the Black baseball leagues, active largely between 1920, look at this, 1920, you was being called Negroes, in the late 1940s. Now, wasn't that around the time of sharecropping? continues to carry the name used by those leagues. The use of Negro in these contexts and others the like them is not regarded as offensive. Both who's talking, who is the one that has to say so over that to determine whether or not if this is offensive to you or not. The more you talk, the more people try to move you away with a false impression that you have made an open declaration. Even if I made an open declaration without reading to learn this, that's still going to be offensive, even if I know I'm being offended or not. That's like somebody, when they was that's like you learning another language and you learning bad words in that language, but people say because you don't understand the implication of the word, they're saying that it's no longer offensive because you have been using this in this sense. So I may have thought that this meant this, but it doesn't mean what I said. It means what it means. And like if somebody said in school, they talk, if they said el estúpido, el estúpida, and then I thought that it meant something else, that does not take away from the meaning of that word. It still means what it means. You still calling yourself an offensive term. And if you calling yourself an offensive term in a language that you don't understand is feasible, then would it not be feasible for you to just call yourself whatever you want to call yourself? Nobody should get angry. There's no such thing as slander if slander is no longer slander. If the word, if raka is no longer raka, then why is people getting offended by raka? And why did the Bible say not to call your brother raka, which means offense? Call your brother an offensive word, offense. That's what that word raka means. Let's look here. The use of Negro in these contexts and others like them is not regarded as offensive. Both Negro is not regarded, which means you don't see it, or a lot of us don't. Both Negroes and Negress are sometimes used by black people in self-reference, but use of either term by others is offensive. Okay? Now let us go back up here and let us look right here. A member of a group of people formerly considered to constitute a race. See race entry 1, and then we're going to see this, of humans having African ancestry and classified according to physical traits. So these people had to be taken from Africa and they had to look like the people in Africa. If there's anybody else on the earth that looked like these people that was taken as dark skin pigmentation. So what the colonists did is they named you African American. But everybody in America, the people that call themselves white, they know where they come from. If they check their background, they know the Scottish know that they come from Scotland. The Polish know that they come from Poland. They know that that's their land of inheritance. If anything go wrong, they know they could go back there. The people that say that they is Spanish, they have Spain they could go back to. They know that that's their lot of inheritance. The people that say that they is Ethiopian, they know they could go to Ethiopia. That's the land of Cush. The people that say that they is an African Egyptian, the Kemet people, right now, they can't just go to their land like they want to. But they still can go to Africa, and they still have a place where they could go in their land. Then you have the people that call themselves Put, whether what they call that the land, I think that's Libya. They can still go to their own land. That's their place, You got the Ishmaelite. They could go to their land. They call that Ishmael. They call it Arabia, or whatever they call it. But when it comes down to you, my people, you are stuck with a stigma. There's a lot of Europeans that have the same complexion of skin, with the same color hair, but one knows that I'm not from the area where they from. So if I have to go home, if I have to go back to my country, or something go down like it's been going down with you Negroes, then where you finna go, right? It just so happened that what if you go back to your country and somebody else is sitting in there, like the three little bears? Shalom, Kate Judah. So this is the offensiveness of when they say that we are Negroes. Anytime we start talking about what is in the Bible, people keep saying that y'all making it about race doctrine. But this ain't about race doctrine. This ain't about skin doctrine. You know, that they put that label on us. Just like when you go inside the store, you see a Negro bean. You could go in the store and you could see a Negro pencil. You could go in the store and you could see a Negro crayon. You know you don't come from none of that. So there's a confusion coming in, because even when the back in the day, there was an Egyptian man that migrated to America where you was enslaved at, and they gave him an option to be called white or to be called black. He still knew that he was an Egyptian. He had the option to be called a white person, to live in a white neighborhood, to get the loans and stuff. So we see that it goes deeper than skin. White race is a class system. Even the Ethiopian can come over here and partake in this. But why can't the subjugated people, who they won't let come over here, who they have to check them to make sure that they're going to be against their own people here, they're going to come over here and say it's all about me? That's the people. Why is that only? Why they won't let Brother Julius Malema them come over here like that? So we see that racism is putting a color and saying, because you look like this, this is who you is. When they came over here to these states, everybody over here, everybody that was over here had a darker complexion of skin. You see it even on the Mayan temples, and some of our brothers and sisters say that some of us sailed over here before the white people came over here. So if some of our people, according to what they say, sailed over here before the white people came over here, then the Negroes whose land was taken got on ships because they knew how to build them and sailed over to America. That's all I can tell you about that. But in conjunction to calling yourself a Negro as a people, that's where the confusion keep coming in. So we go inside the Bible so that we can look and cut down on all the confusion, put the prophecies in the proper alignment, accept the scripture for what it say, and not call the Bible a lie and call the Father a lie. Now I'm finna show you something. Excuse me. So now, check this out. We're gonna check different translations on this. So I'm gonna go to the King James Version right here. King James Version. Let me go back real quick, make sure I'm in the right place. Alright. Yep, that's number one. Alright, King James Version, number one. We go. But now, thus saith Yahweh, that created you, O Yah-Akwabah, and he that formed you, O Yasharal. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. I have called you by your name. You are mine. Now, we need to look up again, not that a lot of us don't know, but we need to look up the word redeemed again. Let's look up that word redeemed. and who needs redemption. And what happens when Israel is punished for their sin? Now, if the other nations is punished for their sin, let's study, let's figure out what happened to them if they sin. But let's look at Israel. Let's look at what happened to Israel when they sin and why it's important that they have a remembrance of what happened to them as a people. The scripture said if we don't do a certain thing, we will forget ourselves. Now, a lot of us don't believe that we are Israelites, but Yahweh is the only one that can open your eyes to the truth. This ain't no occult, but let me go here and copy this, redeem, and then I'm finna go over here to the lexicon. Now y'all see that right there? Redeem, act as kinsmen. You see that? Redeem, act as a kinsman. Right here. What is a kinsman redeemer? Let us go here. Do y'all see that word right there? That's gullah right there. Let's click in there and see. I don't want that to happen. All right. So y'all see that word right there? And Phoenician Hebrew, the Gamal is pronounced Ga. The Alap is pronounced Ah. The Lamad is pronounced La. So you see here, Ga'ala, that's Gala, and they have it there for you. Transliteration. So this is a transliteration of a transliteration. The ancient Hebrew is older than what we see as Hebrew today. So we see here, when we use the Nikud, we say Gala, right? So right here it says Ga'ala. The one that's to redeem you has to be a Gullah. Who is the Gullah Geechee people, family? Transliteration, Ga'ala. Phoenician, Ga'ala. To redeem, kinsman. Avenger, bought back. Buy back. Claim, close relative, closest relatives, ever wish to redeem. Now, in the last days, the Messiah has to be of the closest relative to the people on the earth that need to be redeemed. He did not come through the lineage of Japheth. He did not come through the lineage of Ham, but he came through the lineage of the people because of his foreknowledge and because of who he chose before the foundation of the earth to be his people, to be a light. But he also knew what those people was going to go through with. And he chose us, and he didn't say, like grandma and them say, that the road going to be easy. But grandma and them say, I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. Look here, avenger. So you need somebody to avenge, family. I know a lot of us don't want vengeance to happen, but it ain't up to us. Y'all said that he's going to judge, and we know this. You can't fight against Yah. He said he going to deal with it. Now, and then he say, bought back. So a redeemer comes to buy you back from somebody that bought you. Now look at this right here. Rescue. Wishes to redeem. All right. And you see that right there? Yagal, Yaga is in Isaiah. That's Yeshaya, chapter 44 and 23. imperfect, Ga'ala, imperfect, Ga'ala, Yakala. Leviticus 25 and 23, imperfective, Ga'ala. Ruth, in infective, absolute, Ga'ala. So y'all see that? Let's click inside of Ruth real quick. Now, it says, buy it back, buy it back. So right here, it is Quana, Quana. They say Quane, Quana, to buy it back. And what does this say right here? And I thought to inform you, saying, buy it back in the presence of the inhabitants and the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, redeem it. What's this word right here? Ga'ala. And then he say right here, but if not, you will redeem it. Yah Ga'ala. Then tell me, Laya, then tell me, we ain't gonna go into that, but I'm gonna skip that because there's no word under there for me to prove to you. So let's go right here. That I may know, for there is no one but you to redeem it. Why was it only one person to redeem it? Why was that the person to redeem? And I am next after you. And he said, I will redeem it. Who is the he that is talking here? And what is this scripture right here all about? So we're going to go to Ruth chapter 4, fam. Ruth chapter 4. Matter of fact, I could go there like this. KJV. Ruth chapter 4. Then let's read from right here. This is Ruth chapter 4. Boaz redeems Ruth. Shalom, Moshe the commentator. So we're going to see here Ruth here. Then went Boaz up to the gate and sat him down there. And behold, the kinsman of Boaz spake. Boaz spake, came by unto whom he said. So the kinsman, remember that's the gullah. So the gullah of Boaz, that means you kin folk, and our ancestors being beaten and struck and all that, some of the language they kept. And what they called themselves is gullah. And y'all see what gullah mean, right? Y'all see what language gullah comes from, right? Ga'ala means kinsman, of whom Boaz spake came by, unto whom he said, Ho, such a one, turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, Sit you here, sit you down here. And they sat down. And he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, one of our sisters' name, kinsman, Naomi, that is come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land, which was our brother Amalek. Now, sister changed her name. I don't know what that name means. She gonna have to break that down. Our brother Amalek, and I bought, and I thought to advertise you, say, buy it before the inhabitants and before the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, redeem it. But if you will not redeem it, then tell me that I may know, for there is none to redeem it besides you, and I am after you. And he said, I will redeem it. Then Boaz, uh, after you. And he said, I will redeem it. Then Boaz, what day? Yeah, that don't look right. I will redeem it. Then said Boaz, okay, what day you buy it by the field of the land of Naomi, thou must buy it also of Ruth, the Moabite. So you see right here that Naomi lived in a place that they called Moab. That was the lot of inheritance of Reuben. That was the lot of the inheritance of Reuben. So the field of Moab was the inheritance of Reuben. Because a lot of people started going inside of the land of Sham. But let us read here. Field of the hand of Naomi. Thou must buy it also of Ruth of the Moabites, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. Why did he say this? Because the one that property belonged to was the nearest of kin, which means that was the one that was supposed to inherit that property, not be sold off to anybody. It had to be sold off to a specific person, had to be of the nearest of kin. Why nearest of kin? Y'all know how when you go to, when it was back then, when our people had a house, when you went to grandma's house, that wasn't everybody's house. And when grandma lead that house to her grandchildren, and if she gets some more land, or if y'all buy some more land, then y'all will let somebody else build a house on y'all property, and then that portion will be theirs. And then they'll buy some more land, so to keep going like that. So if you block off the land, they just buying a portion of that land. And then you'll go around there and they buy some more. The person that come in, they'll be buying land from you, and then you let them come on the property, and then they don't have, you see, if we had our own stuff, won't nobody have to keep paying us. Like that's like you renting land, you renting property. You're not living on a lot of your inheritance. You've been renting property. You've been paying taxes on property that's not yours. So this is what the nations is doing, even through the Greek Empire. Yahweh willing, I'll read a little bit about them. The wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. See that? And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar my own inheritance. You see this? And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself. I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar mine own inheritance. So let's look at this right here. If Messiah died to redeem the land just for himself, like that other preacher was saying, that there's only one seed, that through that one seed, and that's Messiah, that's going to be blessed. How can he redeem a land that he didn't lose? The Israelites went into captivity. Messiah died on the tree, rose again, and ascended to the Father. He dealt with the curse. You see that? So you see this right here. You see our salvation in this redemption law right here. So Messiah didn't die for his own sin. He didn't die because he sinned. He died because we broke the law. In the law, when you break the law, that's how you lose your That's how you lose living on your inheritance. So others come in and they devour it according to the law. So we see that Messiah didn't die to redeem the land for himself. He died to redeem his people who are not in their country. You see that? And why does he need to come and redeem his people? It is because of how these things are set up. Thou must buy it also of Ruth, the Moabites. So let me ask you a question. When they setting up and they buying land and stuff over there of an inheritance, did they make sure that was from them? Israel would be in the captivity on the four corners of the earth, as the prophet Yahazuza said. And I read that to y'all yesterday. And I believe that's in Yahazuza chapter 4. You can read chapter 4 through 8. But it say, thou must buy it also of Ruth of the Moabites, the wife, the Asha of the dead, the woman that was there to help her husband, right? But he dead now. So now she free from the law of that marriage, to raise up the land of the dead upon his inheritance, right? And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it. So this is why you had children, so that they can carry on your inheritance, right? And there was a prophecy of Messiah coming in the last day to raise up those who are asleep. Her husband gonna get up one day. He don't need to get up and see 3 little bells sitting in his house. Kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar my own inheritance. So how can they redeem something that don't belong to them for you? The Redeemer has to buy it. So he shed his blood. You see that? And you have a seal on you until the Messiah come. I remember playing a game back in the day. It was called Oregon Trail. I was playing that thinking in 2000s, the mid 2000s, Oregon Trail. And when you purchase a plot of land, it may sit there for a month. It may sit there for a week. It may sit there for 30 minutes. But after a while, once the time of redemption of the land is up, that's when the land is allowed for you to go in. When you go in, notice on Oregon Trail, you got to go in and clean up all the trash and stuff that's on there. Messiah said when he come back, he gonna have to do something, judgment, all right? He gonna have to do some cleansing of the land. So y'all can see how when you redeem a land, then you got to go in and till the ground and fix it up, right? So look at this right here. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself. You see that? The kinsman said, I cannot redeem this land for myself. He's a semitone of Hamashiach, this Boaz here. Lest I mar mine own inheritance. Will Messiah mar you as his inheritance? He didn't die for you for his sin. He died for us for our sin. And we are his inheritance. But they purchased us. Family. We are his inheritance, Yasharal. Yasharal is Allahayim's son, Yahushai's inheritance. He gave us to him. All right? A father's inheritance is his children. And when the father give his bride away, when the father give his daughter away, he give it to a husband that he already had set for her. Right? Yasharal is the bride. So y'all see that Messiah is the Redeemer. Not Rome. And I know what they read about the ships and stuff, but Messiah is your Redeemer. Messiah is your Redeemer. He said that at the sound of the archangel, he gonna gather his people from the four corners of the earth. Why is they in the four corners of the earth? I thought they supposed to be in the land. Why would they be murdering the prophets, the 2 prophets? You know, the ones that are breathe out of their mouth, fire and brimstone out of their mouth. Why would they be murdering the prophets, family? The way that this world is set up, they will murder the prophets for bringing righteous judgment on people, right? So if a brother defend himself like Brother Othal did, he get locked up. If the prophets come and defend and do the word and do the will of Allahayim, when they want to kill them and have them laid out there dead for 3 days. So it show you the nature of people. And look at the inheritance thing. No, not just no anybody can't buy you your inheritance. So when they say it just don't matter, why would they treat YAHUZA's inheritance like it ain't nothing? While everybody else living in heritage and they calling you a color, that means you look like everybody. So everybody could just come in and just use you. You are a byword. You know, that's not your name. You are a pithy. You are a maxim. You see that? You are a byword among the nations. A pithy maxim. So you need somebody that understands the redemption law to redeem you. A lot of people say we shouldn't have to understand none of this stuff for y'all to do right by us. Well, he understands his law perfectly, and he not going to break his law. And look at this right here. So he threw off. Now I want to go and skip to right here. And let's go to, what verse is that? Verse 7. Now, this was the manner in former time, in the olden days. This the way the old folk used to do it before the new school stuff. This is the manner in former time in Yasharal concerning redeeming and concerning changing. For to confirm all things, a man plucked off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor. And this was a testimony in Yasharal. Has anybody ever took off their shoe and gave it to you? Remember when I was telling y'all about shoes, how somebody had stole your shoes? To pluck off his shoe and give it to his neighbor. And this was a testimony in Yasharal. This is how they gave testimony. You know how when people go and get baptized, when they say they want to be saved? When you took off your shoe. Why would we want to live out there in the street like that guy had us living? What was his name? That came over there to mess with the northern tribe in West Africa. Leopold came over there just robbing the people blind, cutting their hand off when they didn't want to do his bidding. Gave it to his neighbor, and this was a testimony in Yasharal. They wouldn't care nothing about you taking your shoe off. They came over there and said, it's mine, nab it, stab it, and grab it. Therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, buy it for you. So he drew off his shoe, and Boaz said unto the elders and unto all the people, you are witnesses this day that I have bought all that was Amalek. Now, did they go up to the Senate and everybody else? Did they call America on the phone? They weren't dealing with no America. They weren't dealing with the Greeks. They weren't dealing with the Babylonian Empire. They weren't dealing with none of that. They was doing government amongst themselves, but they was doing YAHUZA's government. Check this out, family. Bought all that was Amalek's. They were sovereign nation. Our ancestors were sovereign nations. You are witness this day that I have bought all that was Amalek's. See, you see this? The shoe was given out and everything. And all that was Chilion and Mahelon's of the hand of Naomi. So was they over there stealing people land of heritage? No. Hand of Naomi. So Naomi was the one that was able to do the price, to do the because her husband was asleep. And back in them days, a woman needed a man. She wanted a man. She wanted babies. Having babies was a glorious thing. It was an honorable thing for a woman to have a baby back then. Moreover, Ruth, the Moabites. So Ruth bought the plot of the land that was not really to the Moabite, but was to Reuben. Because there's a scripture in the Bible, and there's a brother that spoke on this, and I don't want to cover over this again, but the brother name is Chazawan, and I'm going to find the video, Yahweh willing, and I'll put it underneath this video. Brother Chazawan did a good job of covering it, and I think he planted it and landed it and said it perfect. about how Naomi was not a Moabite. All right. Moreover, the Moabites, the wife of Mahalan, have I purchased to be my wife. To be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren. All right. So that they would always have the and descendants of this brother, that if Naomi didn't have a son or a daughter, but they would need a son. But if they didn't have a son or a daughter, the daughter can claim inheritance as well some kind of way. But I'm covering this in the way that I'm seeing it. So she was marrying him, and if they didn't have children, then the first child that was to be named after the brother that died. Okay. Moreover, Ruth, the Moabitess, the wife of Mahalan, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from amongst his brethren, and from the gate of his place. You are witnesses this day. And all the people that were in the gate, and the elder said, we are witnesses. Yahweh see, they say the father name ain't in this right here because they got Lord. See, family, that's why we need to go inside of the Hebrew to understand. Because in the book of Ruth, Yahweh name is all up and through the book of Ruth, family. Yahweh make the woman that is come into your house like Rachel. And see, this let me know. Family, listen to me. This let me know, because nobody can pretend with me. When they said the Lord, they remember, I want y'all to go and look up some old videos of people who were saying that's his name. Look at this. They said in the book of Ruth, the name of Yah is not in there at all. This is what they said on TV. All right. This is what a lot of people believe. So when they said the Lord, they weren't thinking about Yahweh's name. So that's not his name. Yahweh make the woman that is come into your house like Rachel and like Leah. Look at this. Yahweh make the woman that is coming to your house like Rachel and Leah. So did Yahweh make the Moabites like Rachel and Leah? Anyway, which two did build the house of Yasharal, and do thou worthily in Ephratah. Ephratah is in Judah. Ephratah is in Judah. Worthily in Ephratah, and the famous in Bethlehem. And let your house Lacham, that means bread house, and let your house be like the house of Paraz. All right, whom Tamar bare unto Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. Tamar. See, they put down their names and stuff, family. They did not hide these things. These things are important. But I know that sometimes when we're reading inside the Bible, some things we don't take that important until we realize the importance of that thing. And now I'm telling you, I'm reading to you the importance of this. A lot of us don't have a place to lay our head right now. Whom Tamar bare unto Yahweh, of the seed of which Yahweh shall give you of this young woman. Boaz marries Ruth. So y'all see that. So when Boaz married Ruth, Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife. And when he went in unto her, Yahweh, you see his name in there again, gave her conception, and she bare a son. Because they said Yahweh's name is not in the book of Ruth at all, because they didn't see G-O-D in there. They didn't see Alahayim in there. Well, anyway, so Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife, when they didn't see G-O-D, and she was his wife. She was his Asha, not the wife of the brother that was asleep. But the brother that was asleep, he did not lose his lot of inheritance, family. You see that? Yahweh gave her conception. So Yahweh gave her a baby, and she bare a son. And the woman said, and the Asha said unto Naomi, Barak be Yahweh, which have not left you this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Yasharal, and he shall be unto you a restorer of your life. Y'all see that? So we was first with the first Adam. So another Adam had to come and buy us, family. And we see how Boaz had redeemed Ruth. Because without this law, if this law is not done away with, then that means that Yahweh will always make sure that you will have a lot of inheritance, a place to lay your head. And look at this right here. For your daughter-in-law, which loveth you, which is better to you than 7 sons, have borne him. Y'all see this? And Naomi took the child. This is Dawad's grandmama. And Naomi took the child and laid it in her bosom, and became a nurse unto it. Laid the baby in her paps, and she nursed the baby, family, and became nurse unto the baby. And the Asha, her neighbors, gave the baby a name, saying, This is a son born to Naomi. And they called his name Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of Dawad. Now look. And that's where you get the line of Dawad. Without redemption law, you couldn't even say that Messiah came, because Messiah came through the line of Dawad. Dawad is a baby that came out of a situation of redemption. If Yahweh broke his promise, if Yahweh changed his mind about redeeming, about redemption, if he hated redemption, if redemption means you fell away from grace to have a land of inheritance, how come the grandfather, which is the father of Dawad, is Boaz? And the way that he came to be is that his grandmama, which is his Amma, and his Abba, which is his father, came together, and this baby was born, Obed. And that's where David came from. And without this bloodline, the prophecy would not be fulfilled. Because out of all of these children, Yahweh had a specific plan. Out of all of Yasharal, he has a plan. But for Yahweh Shah's plan, Yahweh's plan for Yahweh Shah is to be the all in all. Mashbakah. He is the Alap, and he is the Tha. Yahweh Shah is the author and the beginner. He's the ending. He is the all in all for you. So what I'm saying to you, look at this. Look at this. And that's how his family make up. And then you have people that could come in and try to change up laws, statutes, and commandments, but that does not change Yahweh's mind or what he sees for you, fam. And I'm finna play a Bible verse before I leave from here. I hope that I hope y'all got something out of this message. But I'm finna play a Bible verse for y'all before I leave from here. But before I go, I'm gonna answer the one of our people question. They asked me about Africa, an African Israelite. They said it don't make no sense. Look right here. This is in the ancient Hebrew. This is in chapter 10 and verse 29 right here. And the letter right there that I got underlined, that's awath. That means a sign, I think. Wa'ath or you. Let me see. It's in you. Wa'ath. Apar. You see that? Apar. And in they language is Ophir. Okay? And so I'm finna show y'all Africa. Y'all see that say Ophir in your Bible in the King James Version 16:11 and chapter 10. And you can see it also in Psalms chapter 72 and 15. And it says that the land of Egypt, also in another part of the Bible, is called the land of Ham. Ham. Let's see right here. Psalms 72 and 15. Most likely location of Ophir to have been suggested so far as the region, according to the Bible, of Somalia, Ophir of Somalia on the East African coast. Possibly, who is the Somalians? East African coast possibly extends to the neighboring coast of South Arabia. The original people that was there have dark skin like me and you. If they brought them to America, if they migrated to America, they will be considered as a part of the black race if they desire to be. The product of Ophir are characteristically African and are similar to those of Foot, which suggests that Ophir and Foot were located in the same region. What's up, sweetie? Okay. I heard him knocking, but I'll go out there, okay? Thank you, sweetheart. And they say African are similar to those of Foot, which suggests that Ophir and Foot were located in the same region. It is certain that Foot was in the area of Somalia. Y'all see that? It is certain that Foot were located in the same region. It is certain that Foot was in the same area, the same region, and the same area of Somalia. And it is thus likely that Ophir was situated there as well. Arabia. Y'all see that? And if you ask the Saudi Arabians, they will tell you who they is if they want to talk to you. They'll tell you who they is. It is gold there. That's why the Europeans wanted to take over that part. It says the Oxford Dictionary of Phrase and Feeble Elizabeth knows it's important to know who you is for spiritual purposes and also physical purposes. Everything has to have a balance. You can't just be all spirit. You got to have flesh too. You can't live without being a full person. Yahweh did not just make us spirit, but he made us a flesh as well. So when somebody say that I'm a spiritual Israelite, then where's they physical Israelite body then? They say it just don't matter. Well, Yahweh didn't make Yasharal to be spirits without no body, so he gave them a body. And the scripture says in Revelation chapter 1 that behold, the head of his hair was white like wool. And then somebody may question that and they say, okay, that means his hair was just white, like wool is white. Well, in the book of Daniel, it says his hair was like wool, period. Okay, so they say his hair was woolly. Okay, then they say that his flesh was as burnished brass. Well, somebody say, no, it didn't say that. It said his feet was burnished brass as if it burned in the furnace. Well, how can you say that his flesh was as burnished brass as if it burned in the furnace? And the scriptures say that there is no unclean thing that can enter into the presence of Elohim. And Yahweh Shai is sitting right now at the right hand of the Father, waiting until all his enemies become his footstool. And there is no unclean thing that can abide in Yahweh's presence. Yahweh Shai said that being unclean if you are leprous, right? So if his body is not matching in complexion, that means he's an unclean leper, because he's not all the way leprous. If they say his feet is like brass as if it burned in the furnace, that means that if his body is white, then that means that his whole body is leprous, that he's a leper, an unclean leper. And an unclean leper dwell outside the camp. Now, am I trying to tear down on other folk? No, I am telling you that Hamashiach cleanses the leper. A leper will make you leprous if they not cleansed. That's why they are outside the camp, and they out there and they saying unclean, unclean. When you look inside of these old Christian film, I think it was one called Bible Book, they had the nerve to have a black person, when they say he got healed from leprosy, they put up there, Shalom Ak Monster Moshe, they put up there in the Bible that the blackness went away and he became white. And that was the Mormon book. That was the Mormon thing what they was pushing. So family, this is what I want to bring out today. Yahweh willing, I will go further into detail. I got some Greek stuff y'all can look into, but I put it down in the description below. I got to go and see after my neighbor. But family, if Yahweh willing, I'll be back on here a little bit later. And I would love for you, brother Moshe or brother K Judah, to carry on this message, and brother Jason, carry on this message and let our people know the importance of identity and inheritance. But I gotta go, fam. I hope that y'all got something out of this right here. I'm sorry for the long drag, but I had to get this done, fam. And I want to say shalom and thank all of y'all for coming. Soon, one day, we'll go home. Shalom, fam.